But it looks like we're giving it a start now. So, here we go. We've talked to Taryn and Marin, who have kidnapped us off the beach in order to get our shield back, but they just left our sword down there? Are they allergic to swords?
I mean, it's a sharp object. Marin didn't want to cut herself. You know how it is.
I'd say the shield is deadlier than the sword in the right hands.
Don't know about that. At least
Look,
not in this game.
Just beat somebody over the head with the shield, done.
Yeah,
you don't see it coming.
That takes multiple hits. I'm pretty sure you can, with one good sword swing, you got it. Not that I would know from first-hand experience, but...
Crunchy, have you ever wielded a sword during a Mortal Kombat?
No. Mortal Kombat is obviously fought with ice bolts and harpoons.
No, because you also have the grappling hook thing that the Scorpion uses.
That's a harpoon!
Is it a harpoon? So, anyways, we're gonna get over here and we're gonna grab our sword. It looks like Spice used the damage boost off that Spiny in order to get his shield hitbox into place, because in this game, Sword, Shield, and Link have different hitboxes. And we can abuse that to duplicate rupees.
Yeah, so far, Mighty has not been able to duplicate any. Spice has gotten, looks like, 1 or 2 good dupes. Ooh, Mighty's just having real trouble with the dupes here. Oh no, 3 rupees. Ooh.
This would be where we'd put our rupees if we had any.
Yeah.
So now we have to... No, go for it.
I was like, I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm fairly certain that if this were not a race, Mighty would have already reset. This is a real rough start for him.
So, Spice over there, becoming Thief instead of Totateke.
Yep,
steals his tummy. And Mighty gets his 10.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not a run where you finish the game. This is not a category where you finish the game without stealing, because we only have 10 rupees and we have to use them to gamble at the trendy game. So we can't use them to do things like buy shovels or bows or even bombs.
Who buys the bow anyways?
Yeah, it's a fun thing that Spice is doing right there. He's pretty much holding down the 3 of the 4 buttons you need to open up save and quit, and the final button is the one to select yes. So the game says, oh yeah, you bought the bombs, but then you save and quit before it actually counts them down out of your inventory, so...
It's basically buying them with the 5-finger discount.
But legally.
Absolutely legally. So now, here we go. We're gonna get the magic powder. What kind of powder do you think this is?
Obviously it's powder made out of the mushroom, because the mushroom is genuinely an incredibly ridiculous item in this game.
Alright, so it's not blood.
I don't know where you were going with this. I'm keeping it real over here.
We have to shove it into a raccoon's nose to transform into a human, man. Come on.
No, we don't. That's what we have bombs for. Bombs fix everything.
That always works, doesn't it? So now we go into Madame Meow Meow's house to set a save and quit point, and now... Spice went for it, but he didn't get it.
Trying to give us a little bit of an early taste here. Yeah, it turns out bombs are one of the most important items in the run, because they don't just blow things up, they also blow up your expectations. Because here's the fun thing about bombs, my friends. The game is programmed to only let you have one on screen at a time, but if you figure out a way to drop them within about 4 frames, like say on a screen transition, the game does not quite know where to put that second one, so it goes into a weird place in memory, which causes events to trigger on whichever screen you're on. So that raccoon, instead of using powder, using bombs just like that, boom. He transforms back. Done. Much faster.
And that is what we call bomb trigger. Now we pick up our tail key and we are off to the races, saving quit back to Madame Meow Meow's house, and now we're gonna head down to D1.
Mighty had a real quick bomb trigger there.
Oh, yeah.
And also taking full advantage of the save and quit menu to not only skip the text, but skip that owl cutscene. Yeah, saving and quitting is useful on so many levels. In fact, because you remember our last tournament, saving and quitting was not allowed. In fact, this might not be a bad time to talk about this category. What the heck is meant by any percent warpless, Matt?
So, basically that means that we're not allowed to wrong warp, which is going into an exit and coming out in a place where it doesn't belong. You probably won't. I hope to God you won't, but there is a point in this dungeon where we could actually do that, and it would disqualify the run. You're also not allowed to go onto any screen that's really bad, so to speak. So you have a few of those, like, stuff to the right of cave systems or to the left of cave systems.
Yeah, the way the tiles are stored in this game, sometimes you leave a system, it'll put you in a different one, which is a wrong warp. Not always the case, though. That's an important distinction.
Yes. In addition to that, we are kind of lenient on out of bounds, so that's nice. It lets us do some very funny things. But now Spice doing a little shield bump to get away from those exos, and now we got the feather.
Yeah, Link's Awakening is a very gracious game in that it gives you one of the best dungeon items right from the get-go. The Rock's Feather is useful not just as a movement tool, but just for an incredibly common trick you're going to see Spice do right here in a moment.
Okay,
and
that might...
Yeah.
It's... Alright, so that was a quick super jump. The walls in all of these dungeons are made out of ledges, which means that we can fall off them if we trick the game into thinking that we're up there. We're gonna see a lot of that.
Yeah, well, the fun thing is you've actually been seeing them do it without realizing it. If you push Link into a corner, he clips just a couple of pixels into the wall. That's called wall clipping, which has a whole lot of uses, and one of them is super jumping. Because even just being clipped a couple into the wall, if you jump against the wall and try to jump away, the game says, "Oh, you're inside the wall enough that you're obviously on a higher platform."
Yep, and Spice taking quick care of Moldorm, thank goodness, and he picks up his full moon cello for his efforts.
Yeah, it gives you the Rock's Feather from the get-go, but it just in exchange it gives you possibly one of the hardest bosses in the entire game, maybe even the hardest.
I'd say the
Mighty,
hardest.
be careful.
Mighty knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Mighty's an old hand, but still, that's the thing that's dangerous about Moldorm. You can be an old hand, and he'll knock you into the pit 2 or 3 times. It just happens. He's that much of a jerk, that Moldorm.
Yep, so here we're talking to the owl who's telling us, man, you gotta find them 8 instruments and play a concert. Might sound cool. I'm not gonna tell you anything else.
Yeah, and Link's like, I don't know how to play any of these instruments. I can only play the bomb.
My bomb thinks it's an ocarina.
Make some sweet music.
So those kids really want to tell us that one of the village inhabitants has been kidnapped, but we can just skip all of their text by mashing with the B button.
Yep, the B button lets you use the privilege of adulthood to make the kids tell the kids to be quiet.
We love it. You can skip a lot of text in this game. Basically, any text that isn't a... I believe it's a cutscene that you walk into, you can skip. Or a text box that you walk into, like that.
So here we are, at the Moblin Cave, needing to rescue the villager. Your best friend in the entire village, as it turns out.
He's a fantastic person. The shopkeeper, of course.
Now, unfortunately, they tried to kidnap Emperor Palpatine, but he kind of just zapped him. There used to be more Moblins before that.
And now there's only 6 of the Royal Guard left. I mean, 5 of the Royal Guard and one of the... Oh, they're all dead now, it doesn't matter. But no, we got our true best friend, Bow Wow, the chain chomp / dog, what have you.
He's a good dog. Look at him.
You know it's a good trick?
A flock clip?
Yes, sir. We can move during the very beginning of text boxes when we run into certain objects, and that allows us to clip through them, just by barely. So, who needs to go around and eat flowers to get to the entrance to D2?
Yeah, thank goodness. Now, D2 is where things are going to start going a little bit off the rails. First of all, you saw Spice drop all of his powder except the 2 needed to light those torches. That's because you can't pick up the mushroom if you have powder. He's going to go get the mushroom after he's done here. But he's not going to finish the dungeon. He's just going to get the dungeon item and leave.
Turns out that it's faster to come back here when you have unfinished business.
So that way you can come in, not finish it later. It's faster, trust us.
Alright,
it's so much fun being cryptic in this game just because of how wacky the run gets later.
Yes. It's a mystery.
Yeah, and the bow is a late game item, so having it now just turns mini bosses into absolute jokes.
Yeah, unfortunately, for a long time, we're going to be real shy of getting arrow pickups, so
Yeah,
we gotta use them where we can, and only where we can.
that's the downside, since they're not expecting you to have it until later, you don't really have arrows until later.
Yep, and Spice tricking the game into thinking that the ghosts are off the screen and therefore dead in order to spawn that chest early. There's another method of doing that that spawns them all the way on the right side. Not the right side, the left side of the screen, and it tricks them into going left to basically kill themselves off screen. But now we have the power bracelet. We're going all the way to the east over here to go open up a warp point.
Yep. Just gonna see it just like that. It's active, save and quit, go back to D2. Now do another detour. I mentioned this before. He's gonna be on his way to get the mushroom. Mighty will be doing both of those things here in a moment as well. Mighty doing the mushroom first. There's no real time difference there. But we need the mushroom because not only is it... You normally use it to get powder, which we no longer have, but it also... If you use the mushroom without the hag there, Link just holds it up. And he gets so enthralled by it that, well, physics just kind of stop working.
We'll see that shortly.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to you. Oh, don't worry, it will.
It'll be a blink or you miss it kind of thing in a second. So now we're going to head down to D3. Spice taking a little detour to see what's at the bottom of the pit. Turns out it was just a penny.
Not worth it.
Nope.
Yeah, now D3, if you played this game casually, involves getting the key, which is go talk to Richard, get his 6 golden leaves at the castle, then Richard will open up a path to a maze. Now, the whole castle thing takes a really long time. And it turns out that you can just go into the maze. All you have to do is get past the pit on the edge of the screen, and wouldn't you know it, the mushroom's really good for that.
Because one of its gravity-defying properties is that if you fall into a pit, you just continue falling down. And if you open the save and quit menu at the right time, you get to stand wherever you're at. If you're on, the edge of the pit.
Yep, then you're just able to transition despite not actually being on solid ground.
Well, I think the game considers it to be solid ground underneath the menu. Could be wrong.
Yeah, well, I guess it's one of those things where there's like a pixel of land on the edge there.
So now Link apparently has super noodly arms in this game, because he just wraps those arms around the key slot to get in.
Yep.
Hitboxes work fine in this game.
Well, that's the magic of wall clipping once again, since the game's like, oh yeah, you're inside the block, obviously you can access the keyhole.
Alright, so this is Dungeon 3, and we're going to be killing a lot of enemies here to spawn a drop called a Piece of Power. Not that acorn, the acorn's bad.
Yeah, acorn's bad news, you don't want that.
But acorn cuts all damage you take in half for 3 hits, and Piece of Power increases your attack power, increases your knockback on enemies, and increases your speed for 3 hits. Gee, I wonder which one we want in the speedrun.
Obviously protection. And there it is. Spice getting it 1 room early, but nonetheless getting it, that's the important thing.
I do believe something happened to Mighty, because he's coming back from D2 now. Maybe he died on the skip?
I think he might have actually died, yeah.
So, Spice doing a crazy super jump that requires us to tink off of the Dodongos in there. Alright, Xander has let us know that Mighty died on Villa Escape. The tricky thing to get clipped into those pits.
Yeah, but having Piece of Power makes the Dodongo skip a lot easier, because if you don't bounce far enough, you land in those blocks and get stuck, at which point you have to save and quit.
But Mighty has made it to D3.
Unfortunately, this does give Spice a pretty hefty edge. He's actually about to face off against the boss, and having Piece of Power will make this boss a bit of a joke.
Only a little bit.
A little bit.
Wee bit.
Yeah, but this in no way means Mighty's out of the running, because there's a whole lot of stuff yet to happen in this run that can definitely cause time changes. In fact, including a recurring trick that we're about to see Spice attempt for the first time here in just a moment.
But first, let's watch this box die.
Feels good, man.pmg, and here we go. He's gonna jump on a platform. He didn't get it. So, at this point in time, there's a new trick available to us called Instrument Cutscene Skip, ICS. Basically, the only way to set it up that's meaningful is you try to jump on the instrument and pause on the same frame that Link lands and picks up the instrument. If you do that, then you can get out of your save menu and save and quit to skip that entire cutscene of the instrument playing and the screen fading to white. It takes you like 20 seconds, and you have 7 tries to do it.
The only dungeon that we're not allowed to do that is D1, because what happens when we do ICS is any events that would happen on the completion of that dungeon don't happen. So, for example, if we get the D4 ICS, we don't spawn the ghosts. If we get the D1 ICS, we don't spawn the event where Bow Wow gets kidnapped, which makes the run incapable of being completed because we can't get into D2.
Yep. But Mighty making short work of D3 here. About to head off to fight Slime Eyes, while meanwhile Spice on his way to take care of some business to get the D4 key, trying to get his health down. Unfortunately, Bow Wow's hunger too great.
And Spice taking that safety save.
I like it. I like this move.
It's very wise. You don't want a soft block right here.
Yeah. It's time for another bomb trigger. At this point in time, the game wants you to go get Marin, which involves a long cutscene going all the way back to the beach, and then she'll sing to wake up the walrus. But that takes an eternity. Thankfully, Marin's singing is considered a cutscene, so using bomb triggers will activate it. But there is a catch. Immediately after the walrus falls in the water, there's a text box, and then a rabbit walks out. Spice has to leave the screen after the text box, but before the rabbit, just like that. Otherwise, he'll get stuck on... Either he will have the walrus respawn, or rabbit will just walk on screen, he'll get stuck. In either case, it's a soft block.
By the way, if you look at Mighty's screen, hey, look at that! He just got instrument cutscene skip on D3.
Nicely
saving
done.
20 seconds on Spice.
Oh yeah, no, Mighty has practiced ICS a lot. He's pretty good at it. And it can make a world of difference.
So the reason why we kill ourselves after getting the walrus skip is because we are put into a state after that cutscene where we can't do anything until we get rid of Marin, but we don't have Marin, nor the trigger to Marin to get rid of her. So we can't use our A and B or start or select buttons. So we need to either kill ourselves or do a transition somewhere. And turns out that killing ourselves is just a little bit faster because we can use the save and quit plan from earlier and go back there and make things a lot shorter.
And now, because we have the warps, Spice just heads right back on up to the screen adjacent to the dungeon for Keyhole, and just like that, and thankfully, because the out-of-bounds rules are different than in DX, getting into Dungeon 4 is very easy. Just go down into this exit tunnel, just do a little bit of a shack jump, as we call it, onto the ceiling, and jump from the ceiling onto the stairs, and you're in.
Love out-of-bounds rules, don't you?
Uh-huh.
So this is D4.
Whew.
We got a few dumb jumps, one mini-boss, and then another really cool-looking jump. But first, the cross jump. Easy every time.
Gets himself that walrus skip, no trouble.
But he dies, oh no! Mighty, what were you doing running into that enemy with half a heart?
So spicefather making dumb jump look easy.
It is dumb jump 1.
Oh yeah.
There are gonna be more dumb jumps later. That dumb jump, though.
That's a dumb pit.
That's a dumb cross.
That's a dumb Stalfos.
This is a dumb mini-boss. His name is Cue Ball.
Doesn't even look like a ball. It looks like a... I don't even know what it looks like.
Looks like... Have you ever seen Megamind?
No.
No? It's a good movie. It looks like his head.
And spicefather earning his prize. Unfortunately, D4 had a really low budget this year, so they could only afford one flipper, but that's okay. Link has very small feet.
So Spice killed that enemy to prevent a bunch of lag from happening on that screen. You can or you cannot do it, but hey, it works.
Now time for a really cool super jump here. That P hat, you have to wait for it to take off, then you super jump Tink off of it, and it launches you up. But it has to have taken off. If you do it too soon, you will not get up there.
So now Spice going and taking a shortcut to get the D4 boss key, and now we have a white screen.
And now we have PowerPoint.
Just in time. So he misses a spin slash, but all it takes is one spin slash, 2 bomb arrows, or 3 bomb arrows to kill the thing. You don't want to fight it normally, because then the boss actually sucks.
Yeah, Anglerfish is kind of an awful boss if you're almost using the speed strat. Here we go. He might have done it a little bit too soon, I don't know.
He did do it early.
Yeah. That's the thing. The trick is you have to hear the sound of Link landing, otherwise it's no good. It is frame perfect.
He also makes him jump look easy, but keeping the tech tight just to be...
Alright, now since Spice did not get ICS, he's going in Dungeon 4, he would have to worry about the ghosts. Thankfully, the routing we have accounts for this, so he will not have to worry about the ghosts, because he's on his way up to do the 2 mountain dungeons now. Yeah, dungeon order is kind of more of a suggestion than anything else in this game, and we take full advantage of that. Although, honestly, the truth of the matter is, we're really going up there for D8, because D8 has the final piece of the puzzle in making this run a complete, a complete circus act. But since we're up there, we might as well also do D7.
Because, I mean, we don't need anything else from any other dungeons to do D7, do we?
Nope.
Certainly not a hook shot.
All we need are bombs.
Bombs, feather, and dream.
Alright, Spice going for the most important trick of the run right here. Getting it. Obstacle skip. Run
really?
validated.
I'd argue that the next trick coming up is going to be the most important trick of the run.
Ooh, it's a very good trick. So anyone who's tried to learn Link's Awakening DX might remember the big gatekeeping trick known as Rooster Skip, which involves running, jumping, and hookshotting to basically not fall down a pit that teleports you out of the cave. Well, it turns out when the out-of-bounds rules are different, you can just do a bunch of super jumps and walk on the ceiling.
2 super jumps, a fall, Spice, come on.
And so, because Link's Awakening community has an excellent naming sense, this trick is of course referred to as Rooster Skip Skip.
Not to be confused with Rooster Skip Skip Skip, which is just going and getting a rooster.
Which is a trick that I love, and I've only seen once in a tournament race. Mighty, unfortunately, also not getting Dungeon 4 ICS.
It's okay, there's still plenty of time for him to catch up.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
I mean, after all, Spice could infinitely fall into giant pits.
Don't make me think about that room any more than I have to.
I mean, I don't have to, as long as Spice thinks about it and fails in it multiple times.
Matt, we've talked about this. You gotta stop doing this.
Look, my computer's dead. I have nothing else to live for.
I don't even have words. So anyways, more mushroom shenanigans, jump down here, and there you go. Who needs a hookshot when you have a mushroom?
Voila. We skip needing the hookshot once.
And now we also learn why Bow Wow is a best friend, because you have to wait for the tower to rotate when you put the key in the keyhole, unless Bow Wow eats the cutscene just like that. Hey, the cutscene dropped a heart!
Aww. Spice didn't pick it up, though, so the heart's broken.
Yeah. The cutscene was like, I worked so hard on this, I'm gonna leave my heart right here on the floor.
But turns out that Spice is already committed in a relationship to kill the island.
But here we are, Dungeon 7.
Everybody's most hated dungeon of their childhood, where you had to go around, grab a steel ball, and break down all 4 of these pillars. But turns out that, explosives are just as good at taking down a building as wrecking balls.
Although not even in the way you'd think. You're not even using bombs to blow up the pillars. You're just basically dropping bombs menacingly at the door, and the pillar's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with this guy, and they just collapse themselves.
There we go. No, so here's what it is. The bombs are actually remote triggers, and they're already charges placed behind the pillars.
So what you're saying is you're using
the bombs were
bomb
there
triggers.
already. Exactly.
Ah,
The explosives were already there. So now that that's out of the way, we can head up and go fight Evil Eagle, but there's one trick we have to do before that.
A very unpleasant trick. So since we don't have the hook shot, we can't do the much more consistent P-hat jump. We have to do Goomba Surf. So this Goomba... Oh! Spice! Getting the perfect positioning, just like that, first try.
It's basically a barely clipped super jump in order to bounce off the Goomba and land on top of the ledge. If you do it just right, you could walk right up, but if not, you can use the boots, or you just fail it outright.
And now it's time for Evil Eagle. Turns out 3 bombs will do the trick, and we have a really good visual setup and timing to make sure we always drop a bomb right on his face. Just like that.
Ah, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, Evil Eagle was really annoying as a casual fight, but turns out every single speedrun has a different strat for it just about, and they're all really easy.
So, that door reaches up all the way to the ceiling.
I didn't know that. Oh, oh, oh!
You didn't get it. It was still too early.
Okay. Tragic.
But now Mighty has entered D7.
So basically, Mighty's entering dungeons right as Spice finishes them, so he is not as far behind as you might think, especially if Spice keeps missing ICSs and Mighty can start getting them again.
Mighty hitting that switch a couple of times extras.
For good measure.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta show the switch where it stands.
So, also, if you're falling on a ledge, you can hold, you can open up your save and quit menu, and it'll give you back control of Link as he falls, meaning that you don't have to go all the way back down into the watery pit at the bottom of the waterfalls.
Alright, Mighty, trying to game in the year 3000 here, trying to do arrow triggers. Unfortunately, I don't think the world is ready for his amazing tech yet, so he's gonna have to...
Wait, did he shoot an arrow?
He did.
Oh no.
What?
He has to get out of the dungeon. Or transition, because you can't do bomb triggers if you've shot an arrow.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, you had to kill that one Zol, otherwise it doesn't work, but I didn't know if you shoot an arrow it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the main reason why, we kill the Moblin before D8, because it can shoot an arrow, and that screws it up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not the trigger enemy, it's the arrow that we want to get rid of.
Dang, I've been playing this game for so many years, and I still learn new things about it every day.
Also, this is the pit which kills. It's already taken Spice's life once.
Yeah, this pit is awful. This is probably the hardest trick in the entire run right here.
Oh, man. He went for safety strats. What a bully. So, we have to feather dash jump all the way across that pit, land on the other side to where we can be right above that corner, use the mushroom to drop ourselves down into the corner, and then jump up onto the other side. It's one of the pitfalls of not having the hookshot.
Rather, you hope it isn't one of the pitfalls. Thankfully, wall clipping once again showing how useful it is. Getting past that fire normally requires level 2 shield, but the danger is the knockback. It actually pushes you way the heck back, but if you're clipped into the wall, it doesn't. You can damage boost through it.
So this is D8. It's very red, normally. Because, man, that's some funky lava there.
Yeah, it looks almost like, wow, that color does not... Tar, maybe?
No. Yeah, actually, let's liberate tar pits. There we go.
So we're in Los Angeles.
I mean, what else has tar in the buildings? You ever seen a giant LA tortoise?
No.
Well, today we did.
I've been to LA like, twice, very briefly.
My condolences. The traffic. It's so bad.
Well, I didn't have to drive either time, so...
Also, bomb arrows make this dungeon a joke if you know where to shoot.
Yeah, the game, I guess, is intending you to not be able to enter from this side because, you know, you can't drop a bomb on lava, but if you're shooting a bomb through the air, it doesn't matter. Now,
because of how out-of-bounds rules work in this game, we can jump over that rock using an unclipped super jump, and thus, Blano Skip was born. Unfortunately, we can't do that in LADX.
Oh, well...
unless it's Stu. But even then.
Alright, but now with the magic rod, all the pieces are in place. Spice is about to show off the final trick in making this run pretty wild. So if you pause and use the magic rod in the same frame, the game will actually shoot infinite magic, those little flames, and each of those is a sprite. So when you have infinite number of those, the game looks at your list of sprites and says, I can't load all of these, and selectively deloads things. And the first thing to go, surprisingly, are enemies, mini-bosses, stuff like that.
All the good stuff. And Trick, to answer your question, Spice is in the lead.
And now it's time for... We talked about Out of Bounds earlier. This is the part where it becomes a little bit odd to the untrained eye. So it might look like Spice is in D7, which would make this a wrong warp, but he isn't. This is just a screen adjacent to that previous screen that looks like D7, but the game doesn't consider it D7. It is still considered part of D8 on the tile set. So it's not actually a wrong warp. He's still in D8.
I believe the phrase overflow has been thrown out several times. And it turns out that in that overflow room, there just happens to be a level 2 bracelet. And now Spice is going to be running his way over to D6, where we would normally get the level 2 bracelet.
Yeah, first he has to go down to the Armos maze, also known as the Lag maze, and get the Dungeon 6 key. Thankfully, Magic Rod makes the mini-boss really, really easy. But first he has to get there. The maze itself is a lot more challenging than the mini-boss. Ooh!
Look at them frame drops. I love it. Moving at the speed of sound, Sonic could be proud.
Yeah, it turns out that it's already slow enough, but Bow Wow is like, what, 6 sprites?
So 5, I think. There's 4 bits of the chain and then Bow Wow itself.
Yeah, so all those sprites combined, the game's just like, oh god, please stop. The animators are overworked.
And now, here's Armos Knight. But because he's a knight, he's weak to magic. Phil Fire Emblem.
And there's the D6 key right there. Look at that face.
Face key. Now we gotta backtrack all the way through the maze. And get to the entrance of D6. Meanwhile, Mighty is heading straight for his magic rod.
Making short work of D8 so far. Mighty's doing really well in there.
Oh! Went a bit too ham on that one.
Oh no.
Yeah, the timing for this room is really weird, but you can get it first try. I dig the fact that he's going for these dash jumps in it, though.
Ooh, Spice Meal is having really bad positioning with those bomb fairies. Oh god.
Anarchy, yes! More explosions!
Alright, now, oh god, the bomb fairies are just really badly positioned for him. Holy hell.
Hit him again!
Alright, now it's time for more fun with the magic rod. In other categories, you'll actually have Bow Wow eat the D6 cutscene, but turns out we can just deload the cutscene.
I don't know, a lot of people still bomb trigger the wall. Not bomb trigger, bomb arrow the wall, my bad.
Yeah. No, yeah. Because it turns out that the trick to having Bow Wow eat cutscenes is you have to have another sprite on screen, and then Bow Wow tries to eat that, and since it doesn't have an enemy attached to it, it eats whatever happens to be convenient, which is the cutscene.
And now, D6. Also known as a very empty dungeon. Turns out there's supposed to be a tile room right there. We just deload the tiles. Now we deload Wiz Robes.
Yeah, if D7 is bomb triggers the dungeon, D6 is deload the dungeon.
Alright, so now we're going to do a nice little super jump right there and get us up to where the boss key of the dungeon is.
Open just by throwing a pot at it, just like in real life.
Yeah. I mean, you don't open your door by throwing your foot at it when you have groceries in your hand?
No. I just hold all my bags in one hand.
Like a man's man.
Or like an idiot, take your pick.
So now, there's supposed to be a tile and a bunch of other stuff in this room. A tablet, I mean. They just deload that so we could slip through. Now, nice, another little shack jump. Let's despawn this room with 4 Zols and a black hole thing. Despawn this room that's supposed to have a Beamos and a Wizrobe.
And Spice is nailing those magic rod despawns. He's having to push the buttons at the same time, so it takes a few tries if your timing is off, but he's just nailing them.
And it turns out that Spice is stuck in a no ICS factor and he can't get out. Gee, I wonder why. He's going for it though. He tried. Gotta give him A for effort on that one.
Yeah. He was committed. Unfortunately, the factory said no.
Said, you've met your quota already, get out. You don't get overtime pay for this. Mighty making his way to the D6 key boss. They haven't finished D8 yet because we have work to do. It's more convenient to come back later. Because of overworld routing.
And believe us, we have timed it. It is faster this way, even if it doesn't seem that way.
Yes. So now Spice gone towards the Catfish's Mon. No keys or anything needed to go in here, because it's an annoying dungeon already. It's still annoying, even with deloading, even with all of the tricks in our hats. But Spice doing a neat little dungeon entrance cut tech skip right there. And let's despawn this room with the Helmosaur and 4 keys.
This is one you don't always see folks despawn. I think that one might, if you can fight the enemies optimally, it's faster than deloading.
Yes. Oh boy, get ready to yell time saved when we get the hook shot, Mighty. Alright, so we grab that key, save and quit. And, unfortunately, we have no need for the hook shot. Because the hook shot's useless to us at this point.
Yeah, the only thing you really need it for is fighting the D5 boss, but you've seen what you do to bosses.
Seen what we've just done to Master Stalfos is supposed to have the hook shot.
Screw that guy.
It just doesn't exist.
I hate that guy.
Unfortunately, something we can't deload is dumb jump number 3.
The dumb jump.
This is the dumbest jump of them all. And
Oh,
Spice, of course, doing the French method and getting it first try.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so based on Spice just YOLOing it right there.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Well, that was dead.
There's something else you might have noticed in D6, and you're going to notice it here as well. There is one definite downside to not fighting the bosses, and that's that since you don't kill the boss, you don't get the heart containers, so neither Spice nor Mighty will be gaining any more health at this point. This is their max health.
Yeah. Deload one last room, and here we go, ready to fight Slime Eel. Come on, Spice. There we go. Alright, you ready? Let's go fight a hookshot required boss.
Perfect.
Oh wait, what boss? That's the reason why we don't need the hookshot. And he got an ICS! Good
Well
job,
done.
Spice. You got one.
Yeah, the other downside, not only do you not get additional heart containers, but you don't get the health refill at the end of the dungeon, so...
we're only going to have a couple chances to actually heal aside from random drops.
One of them is coming right up here for Spice, in fact.
Which is the traditional last time you heal in the game. Unless you go out of your way in D8, there's no other places where you're guaranteed health.
Speaking of guaranteed health, Mighty opting to get the fairies in the room before Facade's room right there.
Yeah, safety.
Yeah, I respect it.
Now, hey look! There's a Swarp, and there's a fairy in the tree. We get that, and that's our last heal of the game without going out of the way.
Now it's time to finish D8.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Mighty got his D6. ICS?
Yeah, sadly.
Alright. So, we have coming up here what is known as a short hop. You've seen super jumps. And now we just have to, you know, do a super hop. I do believe the hookshot time-saved thing was in Hundo, where we got early hookshot.
And he got it
and that
again.
Was really clean, getting rid of one of the most annoying bosses, Hothead, and getting another ICS for his troubles. Now we're on our way to finish off D2, and that's it! We go to fight the final boss after that, and we're done.
Yes. Now, if anyone who's actually done D2 casually remembers the D2 boss, you'll understand why we waited until after getting the magic rod, because that boss sucks. We also get to see this room, which you don't normally get to get in other categories.
Piranha plants, Koombas, oh my. And now this room, we have to kill these enemies in a very specific order, which is the Pole's Voice right in front of us, the Keys, and the Stalfos. And that gives us the boss key. Don't mess that up.
Yep, if that Stalfos just happens to be getting in your way and you kill it accidentally, you gotta go back down into those stairs. Pegasus, Boots, and Arrow, and Feather just make that little underground section real easy.
Can't hit you as long as we got what bottle. And he gets another one! The moment he said something in chat, he did it. He unleashed the wave. And now that's it for Spice. He's got all the instruments. He's gonna go straight up to, the egg.
It's egg time. But first he has to...
Oh, go ahead.
First he has to deload the owl, because that's don't want to deal with that. And now he has to bomb trigger the instruments, because again, no ocarina, because Link's most comfortable playing the bomb. Perfect.
Fantastic. And now for our national anthem.
All rise.
A fantastic bomb rendition. I love it.
I expect Spice to show us how good he is at Carnegie Hall next month.
Oh yes, but first, we have the egg. So now, normally you're supposed to go through the whole trading sequence, find the magnifying lens, read a book in the library, and that tells you how to get through this, but it turns out that there's a default.
Yep. As long as you don't read the book, the path is the default, and we know what that default is.
So now, down this pit is the final boss, Nightmare. We're going to spam a bunch of bombs to do a bomb trigger while we're falling to skip the intro cutscene for this boss, then walk up to the specific position, and hold out our sword without slashing it, that's very important, in order to kill the boss without ever needing powder.
Yeah, that's super important.
Here is Nightmare Aghanim. Now, the first two energy balls are free, then he has a 50% chance of giving you either energy balls or blue balls, and we want energy balls. Turns out that there is a way to predict what he's going to do, thanks to Black SR for finding that, and Spicefather himself for making an app to make it really easy to know where to go. And there you go. That's Agaminid.
Now it's time for Moldorm. Hopefully you can kill without him getting loose. Perfect.
Spin slash to stick him in place for a second, and then just continue slashing until he's dead. Now here's Nightmare Ganon. Just dash attack him to death. Now, just like the original, what Nightmare Bland Mola?
Nah, he just spins a sword and... That was a victory spin, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, now here's Deathful. Deathful needs 16 shots to the eye to die. You're required to do this with the arrows or bombs or the boomerang. We only have the best option of arrows because no one wants to do this with bombs. It's dumb. And if you try it, you're making yourself suffer.
That was a perfect 4-round
Spice, making it look easy. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a BB.
I don't believe so either.
Let me take a look here. Maybe like 30 seconds off.
And on the
GG,
fade
Spice.
to white, that's a GG for Spicefather, our winner today, with an official SRL time of 46 minutes and 21 seconds.
Very nice. And now we see Mighty heading towards his D8.
G2?
Oh, D2, yes, my bad. Leaving D8 to go to D2. Words,
Hey.
what are they? How do we use them? Mighty taking pains to kill that piranha plant before it can mess him up. Very nice. So now he has the boss key, and we're going to be headed towards the genie. Or non-existent genie. Schrodinger's genie. Alright, let's go, Mighty.
Already prepared to not fight the genie. Just like that.
Nobody got time for that.
Nope.
But unfortunately does not get the instrument cutscene skip for D8. D2, good lord. Because it's the last dungeon. Because it's the last dungeon we do. I get them mixed up in my head.
A likely excuse.
It's the truth. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Spice?
Okay.
Yeah, how did that feel?
I'm checking my splits now, and apparently that run is very mixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Starts off with a whole lot of red, getting as far as 100 or mid 26 behind, and then solid gold for the last 4 splits.
Yeah. Turns out that breaking open the ICS factory and claiming the stuff for the right of the people works pretty well for golds.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree?
Thanks to whoever freed me from the factory.
Gosh, it's like the moment you said something in chat, it broke free.
all I had to do was say Slingbud to get Matt to let go of his curse.
Basically, we're saying it was Matt's fault to begin with, because cursing. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm already reaping the suffering for having done this.
But yeah, it felt alright. I mean, it's apparently a 35-second race PB, so can't complain too much even if I'm half a minute behind my real PB.
And just think, if you had gotten more ICSs, you would have PB'd. Because it was actually less than a minute and a half. It was just like 40 seconds.
Yeah, I was only like 30 seconds behind at the end. Yeah.
It was really good. And that Deathel fight. Ooh, baby.
Yeah, Death Fight went really, really, really well until the last eye. And he just wouldn't open it up for a few seconds.
So here we go, Mighty going in for his nightmare fights. Gets that blob manip.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if he does the Aghanim manip, though.
Looks like he might.
Well, because don't you have to go in position for each one?
It looks like he's doing that. Although the stream froze a little bit.
Okay, I see. I thought you also had a position to get into for the second energy ball.
Yeah, for the first two, you need to be like either in his face or for a couple spots, like the two that Aghanim just went to for third and fourth. You go right into the corners like Mighty did.
But the Manipto, it's dead.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
There we go.
But there's the last one. Here we go. The hard part's almost over.
Now, the one crappy part about the Manip is even if you know what to do, that one pixel movement can still be really touchy.
It turns out that it's really hard to do pixel-precise movements on a GB Game Boy game. Huh, who'd have thought?
I know I wouldn't have.
It's why games like Pokemon have tiles that you walk on. Alright, so let's see a nice clean Deathel fight. He's only got 2 hearts though, so we can only afford 2 hit.
Playing a little bit safe on the arrows, I dig it.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that jump was a bit dicey though.
Oh dear.
So close. Come on, Mighty. Got him.
Believe! Burn them arrows, Mighty, you've burned it. Doing a tech skip right there.
Nice.
Up we go.
There we go. Mighty done with an official SRL time of 52 minutes, 28 seconds.
What a champion. Hello, Mighty.
Hello.
How did that go for you?
That was hilarious.
I don't know, it was pretty suspenseful at the end. I'm proud of you.
It wasn't that suspenseful.
You had 1 heart finishing that thing. Of course it was suspenseful.
I have 1 heart finishing that thing literally every run.
But the audience doesn't know that.
Don't throw back the curtain, Mighty. Come on.
Gosh. Remember the spectacle.
Anyway, that was hilarious.
Yeah, you did perfectly fine. You got more ICSs than Spice did.
I noticed
Oh,
that.
I'm gonna throw you right under the bus every single time, Spice.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. That might be a problem in a second. Alright. So, any really high ups or any really low lows you guys want to talk about?
A dying Camilla escape. That was great.
Yeah, that was
I was gonna say, I saw in chat someone comment on that and I was like, oh no, Mighty's been watching too much Dragon.
Oh no. Oh god.
And also pretty much forgetting the first half of the run.
Nah, but you got it back. You still finished faster than I ever could.
Please.
Because we believe in you, Mighty.
I guess the 2 ICSs were the high most in the race. Proud of that.
Good, good.
Very nice.
I think the high of my race is that, according to Node and Xander, no matter how this race came out, one of them would have to race Flak next round.
Suckers. So, Crunchy, I got a question for you.
For me? What's up?
Yeah, what's coming up on Speed Gaming later?
What's coming up on Speed Gaming later? Well, first is the part where I make fun of Matt for forgetting to open the schedule again. Then,
All right, look, I have issues right now.
then I've got some good news for everybody because we got some good stuff coming up. We have all sorts of things. We have Momodora, that tournament continuing here in about an hour. Also, the Final Fantasy tournament. Then at 7 p.m., we got some Zero Mission, which I personally vouch for that one. It's a really cool tournament, 100%. You're going to love it. We have Luigi's Mansion. We have the Super Mario Bros. 1 Warpless tournament. Those are little bite-sized chunks. And also the new Super Mario Bros. DS tourney, which I think is one of the newer ones, tonight at 9. So all sorts, all varieties on this delightful Saturday evening.
And of course, if you want more Link's Awakening, you can tune in tomorrow. Hopefully, provided I can get my stuff together for a match between myself and Xander TJE10.
I sure hope so, because I'm going to be there.
But otherwise, I think that's it for us.
Just remember to set your alarm properly, Crunchy.
It's okay, if my computer doesn't work, then he doesn't have to set an alarm, because I won't be able to race.
Womp womp.
But in any case, very swiftly, before my laptop dies, I have been Phantom Matt. It has been a wonderful time watching you guys race. It's been wonderful commentating with you, Crunchy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we got?
I'm all out.
Alright, well, let's just scoot on out of here then. Thanks everybody for watching.
Have a good night, folks.
Bye.